Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is another Italian G.55S Centauro video. And we'll pick it up having skipped all the climb and up to, not exactly all the way up to altitude, but up high enough for my initial wet burst to be overheating the engine. So cut the throttle back here and spy a couple of bombers on their way in. So I'm going to head their way because bombers can take out our bombing zones and they can take out our airfield. Now, these guys aren't too likely to do that on their own, but there could be B-17s around, and I prefer to take them out before they can get up to altitude and just hide forever. So that's what I'm heading for, and then if any other fighters or whatever show up on the way, so be it, I'll attack them if they come up first. But for now, the bombers are priority number one. Also, because I had a 200% silver line booster on, so I'm going to go for the easiest targets I can go for because I want to make sure I get kills. So I timed my climb just a moment too late here. Just not quite. If I'd have pulled up about another half second earlier, I probably would have had enough lead to get the cannon shots up in front of him. But as it is, if he'd have put his SB2C into just a little bit of a dive, he probably would have been able to outrun me and make it to the bomb target, but he just continued on his normal path. And I was able, once I stalled out and fell down. Now notice a B25 down there to the low left. I did keep an eye on him and planned to go after him after I caught back up to the Helldiver here. But since the Helldiver let me dive and get my speed back and get back up behind him, I'm closing on him again. And there we go. Kill number one. And the 200% silver line booster is already not wasted. So I roll back over, let the engine cool again, cut the power down so I don't pick up too much speed in the dive. And I'm hunting and searching for that B-25 because he's a pretty easy kill to come in from above. At least at speed. Much easier to come in from underneath them where there's no gunners, but if you come in at speed with 20 mil air belts, you're probably going to do pretty good work on them. Didn't see him anywhere, climbed back up because I see on the mini-map that my random squad mate is in a bit of a pickle. He's up pretty high and he's got some pretty fast aircraft after him. So I'm still trying to climb up, but I'm kind of climbing off at an angle rather than directly underneath them. And then he gets taken out and, well, trying to go after a P-61 and a P-47 when I'm low energy and they're above me, that's not really a recipe for success, so roll away and live to fight another enemy. Still searching for that B-25 a little bit. Starting to get the feeling that he may have been on his way back to his base already. So I'm going to roll back and head back in after I zoom climb up to get me as much altitude as possible. Pick up all the enemy targets out there. I'm pretty far away, pretty safely on a climb vector here, and those two guys are not coming after me, so I'm in pretty good shape to roll back in and head back in towards the battle once my engine gets a little hot and I get up to altitude and my speed is burning off. Roll back over to the right, take WEP back off, and head back into the fight. Altitude successfully regained. Now there's the B-25 just crashed, and I didn't notice during the battle, but there was a team kill that happened there. It's sort of funny. Oh yes, this battle is from 17 June 2017, which happened to be today. Although it won't make it onto the channel for a little while, but I did actually play the battle this morning, and I am recording the commentary for it still today, just a bit later. So the B-25 is just off the end of his runway. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to repair or not. But since he's still there and hasn't J'd out yet, I'm thinking there's odds are pretty good he's probably able to repair, even though he's fairly significantly off the end of the runway. Just kind of moving back into overhead of where all the enemy fighters are and aircraft are, waiting for an opportunity to present itself. Now right there, I was pretty sure that the B-25 was not going to be able to repair. He's so far off the end of his runway, but I guess the perimeter for the base repair is big enough, because sure enough, he's back on his runway, getting ready to take off again. And surprisingly, I don't know why he thought it was a good idea to take off yet. Me personally, I would have J'd out and waited for the air to clear a little bit, and then respawn back at that runway and taken off again, but he starts taking off with at least 3 enemy fighters overhead. So I'm trying to climb to get away from their base AAA and head down on that Spitfire there that's attacking our other G.55 down to the lower right. And this 190 is not scared. He's right in on that B-25, probably before he even had his gear up, I think. And just demolishes him. Which leaves me clear to go after the Spitfire, which was fine. I would have anyways, but... So making a pretty high angle, high airspeed dive here to get in after that Spitfire, clear him off my friendly G.55, and pulled way too many Gs for my relatively not G-force resistant Italian pilot. Although I've got him up to like 3 or 3.5 in G tolerance, but still not quite enough for 10 or 11 Gs. And eventually I'm able to roll back in with a decent amount of speed coming in behind the Spitfire. And then throw the whip on, get a little more speed. The Spitfire notices I'm coming, pulls off Mike 1152, goes into a climb, but not quite enough. And there's kill number 2, and I felt a little better about that kill. The first one wasn't too bad, although I did miss my initial climb. The second one was alright. And then as I come off the zoom climb back up, there's a P-47 that's now diving on Mike 1152, so I'm going to go clear him off as well. Now he must have had way too much energy from his dive because he didn't even bother coming close. And I just barely missed him, and then he starts going into porpoising mode here, which is really annoying because I couldn't quite get my nose to line up on him. And apparently he had some engine damage, judging by the oil over my windshield. And I get down to 45 rounds in just the center cannon firing. And now with only 31 rounds left, I managed to pick him off with only 11 shot burst. So thank goodness for that, and there's my 3rd kill for the battle. With only 20 rounds left in the center gun. Now it turns out, later on, you'll see, it was a darn good thing that I was able to save Mike 1152's tail twice. So we'll pick up the battle here. I got all the way back to our forward runway and landed, and then while I was repairing, a player of your team was hunted, and it turned out to be the P-108B up there, Tipper 007. So he's got a pair of AI P-51s on him. And since he's right over here next to me, I'm going to climb and go pick him off. And now it doesn't hurt that I have a 200% silver line booster on, and these are 2 very easy kills to go get, so I'm very happy to do it. But at the same time, I know they actually do a lot of damage to your bomber if you get hunted on this map. So P-51s with the 50 cal ammo buff are probably ripping him up pretty good. So I would actually like to have a friendly aircraft left alive and not let AI get to him. And they were so close. So I'm going to roll in and lend some assistance. Plus, I mean, I've got a full load of ammo and a brand new, newly cooled engine, so... Now, it does seem that Tipper's gunners are giving this P-51 the business, but at the same time, 200% line booster. And there's kill number 4, although it's not a real player, so it doesn't really count, but it counts for the line booster, so that's good enough. Tipper's making his way back to the runway, and I'm rolling in on this other P-51. And we're going to finish him off, because he's heading back to Tipper as well. And there's Battle 5. I'd call that an ace in a battle, but 2 of them were AI, so we'll call it a Monty Python ace. How many kills is that? That's 5. Theresa, 3. So since I did just fire off a fairly significant amount of my ammo and our bomber is landed, I'm going to go land back here, and then I'll take off to be his fighter escort to take him back into the battle. I'm still not sure whether he's going to repair here or not, as he is obviously crashed on the runway, but then he says he's got 2 minutes to repair, so good enough. Either way, I'm right next to our main base. There's no reason not to land and regain a full load of ammo. So that's what I did.
Let's keep the pressure on. Victory is close.
And we'll fade out here in just a moment and pick it up again after I begin the takeoff roll. Or rather, after I get the takeoff roll, we'll fade out just as I'm climbing up and then skip ahead till I'm airborne again and up to where the 2 remaining enemies are left. And I cut a bit out here because when I do take off, I just took off and did a corkscrew climb directly over the top of our airfield to get up to altitude in order to cover for Tipper because he still had a 2-minute repair and I had quite a lot less repair and reload time. So we'll fade out here once I'm climbing away and the gear is up, and then pick it up again once we decided that all the enemies were so far ahead that it wasn't a big deal and I wasn't going to need to stay back and escort Tipper back into the target.
Just a little more effort, and victory will surely be ours.
So there are the 2 remaining enemies left in the battle. One to the left, going after a BB-238 for some reason, and one off to the right, climbing up to altitude again. So I'm pretty confident that the BB-238 can handle things, so I'm going to go in after the P-61 that's coming in behind Mike 1152 again. And my faith in the BB-238's tail gun turrets, or rearward-facing turrets anyway, was not misplaced. So I'd been talking to Tipper pretty regularly here for the chat, so told him, oh, and new targets had appeared while I was climbing, that's right. So I told him, you better don't waste your time trying to get to the airfield, because this battle's going to be done pretty quick, so just go bomb those truck targets that appeared and get yourself some score. So I put the nose down to build up some speed so I can come in underneath and behind this P-61 and rush up from behind him and try to pick him from underneath where his very dangerous rearward-facing turret is not.
Engaging the enemy!
And try to catch up to him before he can get on our BB-238, because the P-61 can probably do a bit more damage than the Spitfire was realistically going to. So down we go, into a dive, trying to maintain my speed and not overheat my engine too much. And if you thought my shooting was bad earlier, boy, wait for this disaster.
Let's keep the pressure on. Victory is close.
Not that so much right there. That wasn't really too bad. But this coming up here, it gets pretty awful. I mean, he's within 500 meters of me. And then within 400 meters, and my shooting here is just atrocious. And yeah, the tail turret burns me down. However, he was set on fire, even though I didn't have anything to do with it. So I'm waiting for him to burn out. This was an exceptionally long death cam here, so that was kind of interesting. But there we go, on our way down. Plane burned out. And we'll skip ahead a bit and come forward, and like I said here, I should have had him easily. My shooting was just atrociously bad. We did set one of his engines on fire, so I knew he was in all kinds of trouble, and he was missing some flaps and stuff, so we knew he was going down pretty soon. And he was it. And like I said earlier, remember when I cleared those two fighters off Mike 1152's tail? It ended up paying off for the team because he got the final kill. And that's it. The tickets are going to tick off, and we win. 200% Silver Lion booster, well used. And then we get a little post-battle view of my plane for some reason. There we go, 222,090 Silver Lions. Not too bad. And the P108B research for myself, although he was in a Series 2 and that was a Series 1. So first place on the team with 3 kills. And Terror of the Sky. Not too bad. Should have honestly really had 4 players and 6 total, but that's the way it goes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I've got a lot more videos coming up soon. They're mostly tanks, but I'll try and get some more air battles for you, not specifically all with the G.55S. Thank you for stopping by and checking this one out. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time.